we can control. My internet DC'd for some reason. So let's try and get back on track. I was giving a speech about how great everything was going and about how life was good, and then we immediately got DC'd. It wasn't even a computer DC. It was something to do with the actual network itself. Really, really annoying. All right, guys, give me a sec. Let me fire everything back up. Tom, thank you very much for the sub. All right, just 20 seconds for the delay to catch up, and then I will get everyone back online, and we'll fire up some more games. Those are annoying, though, guys. That was a $100 game, and not only that, you know, all the chips associated with that game now unaccounted for, even though it says that we played a game. These are the kind of setbacks we can just, like, we just don't want. These are setbacks that we definitely cannot afford right now when we are on the wrong end of variance. Ugh. Okay, anyway, let's get to another game. Hopefully no more of those. Very, 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 very unlucky game there. Can you imagine if we had like $1 million spin and that happened? It's not even worth talking about. Not even worth discussing. My Wi-Fi is relatively stable. We really don't suffer too badly. I've got the 5G turned on now as well. Okay. Got a little middle pair situation going on. So the ace shouldn't make that big of a difference, but we can still play it cool. We'll call a river bet here if we need to. Cool, lose the absolute minimum there. That's fantastic. Let me go and check out the hand histories again. I don't think we noted that guy in the previous game. Oh, we've lost the fucking table now. DC annoying. DC mega annoying here. That's a kind of, that's just another form of run bad that's just not fun. Not cool. Really, really, really not cool. All right, el mejor. El mejor. Select plus genius. El mejor. I was about to say, you better not DC. All right, Ace King, let's play this as a limperoo here. Did we tramp El Mejor? We did indeed tramp the El Mejor. To be fair, he's calling with Ace Queen anyway, so it's not some genius move, but we take those. We take those. And this one will almost definitely beat an ISO to 4 big blinds. I'll mark this one for review, but I'm pretty sure that one works. Queen 10 against the reg. Any two live cards are good. Hold the baby. Let's go. All right, so I'll mark up the Ace-8 suited for review as well, because I'm pretty sure that's a big ISO. It could be a small one, though. Oh. Okay. Okay. $625. Let's play poker here, guys. So I think this is fine. Nice. I might get over it. What, over a DCing during the millie? Okay, come on, guys. This is a big boy spin. Okay, unknown player. Okay, come on. This is the time. This is the time for the exploit. This is the time for the exploit. Now, our opponent should not have an ace here that often. Do we turn our hand into a bluff? I would say that in the big multiplier, we probably do significantly outperform. Sweaty palms, sweaty palms. I am not going to suggest for 1 second that this is a GTO move, but against the unknown player in the big multiplier, we really want the player on the left to win this pot. Okay, now we're heads up against a super reg for all the money. We're in the money, I believe. We are in the money, I believe. We are guaranteed at least $75. Okay, so this is going to be this one. No, I meant if we DC Tom, yeah. So definitely got to be 2 barrels here, I think. I mean, with the worst kicker, there's a chance that maybe the check wins us a little bit more here, saves us some worse spots. It's not a particularly draw-heavy spot, right? So let's actually take this line. We'll call a river bet if we need to. Okay, so he must have a jack or a 4. I would say it's pretty out of character for us to check a king on this turn. So we probably get a fair amount of credit here. Okay, pair and a straight draw. Facing the full 2 big blinds here. Additional straight draws, but obviously the jack is not a particularly good straight draw. Damn, okay, cool, that's good enough for me. Man, heads up against Andy, not ideal for the big money. We just got to do what we got to do here. So reg v reg, let's see a flop. Not a good flop. Overbets river. I think we're winning here too often to folds. Nice. The underrep queen is very well played here. I'm anticipating the queen to lead turn or go smaller on the river there, which is the problem. Okay, let's see if we can get him back now with the unlikely combo. Still plenty of fight in this game remaining, guys, against the reg to 8 deuce folds. 10 big blinds in a dream. It would have been set over set anyway, huh? Oh, damn. Yeah, look, the 6s and the 10s is going to get us no matter what. The couple spots here that are definitely worth looking at, but I mean, this is going in no matter what, so this is going to cost us the game pretty much regardless of how we play. One sec, guys. I mean, look, what are we supposed to do here? This is no good. This is no good. This spot, no value. This one is pretty close, I think. This is a really interesting way to play the hand. His hand is really under reps, so the overbet, I think, is particularly like spicy. The biggest issue that I have is that they're trying to represent a straight that they're probably not going to have nearly as often as well. I don't think a 10 plays like this. I think that a jack very rarely plays like this. I think if our opponent has queen jack or queen 10, those combinations are played more aggressively pre-flop at a fair whack. So when we arrive here and they haven't represented a jack, a queen, or a straight draw, I mean, it's, 8-9 probably bluffs quite a fair amount on... Sorry, 8-9 probably wants to lead the turn a fair amount as well. King 9 probably wants to lead the turn a fair amount. So we end up in this spot where, like, I know it seems kind of crazy to call with a tray here, but I just don't think that... I don't think our opponent has that much value that they want to play like this. And a lot of the value that they do want to play like this is probably like 10 tray or deuce tray or whatever, right? This is a limped pot. So our opponent hasn't rep top pair in a conventional fashion, which I think is totally fine. I don't think it's wrong. It's just that, they've arrived here and I think that they don't have enough value the way they played the hand, and we're blocking most of the value that they should have. So this is fine. It's not really that much of an important pot. And then it was just death by 1,000 cuts. There's a couple pots in here that are just whatever, right? We got off to a decent start here. This one is pretty standard. This one is pretty standard. The 8-6 one here, really quick. Let's pause here and close stars. Let's fire up the NWTV chart back really quick. So again, just to be clear, guys, we're gonna do some study here really quickly in the middle of our session. We're not currently playing on PokerStars. The client is completely closed. So if we fire this one up, we have the NWTV chart pack, images, heads up advanced, small blind versus big blind ISO, none all in. What was the stack depth? This is the spot here. So we are 20 big blinds effective, almost exactly, and our opponent raises to 3. So actually we're playing a little bit too wide here in this one. This is the range. So 20 big blinds effective versus the 3x ISO. 8-6 off is too wide. This is actually a hangover from a lot of previous study material from years and years and years ago. I was limp calling way too wide a lot of these combinations. As an exploit, that's probably fine. Against this player, we're not exploiting this player. That's not an issue. It's not a thing. So against the 3x ISO at 20 big blinds effective, this is actually just too wide. It doesn't cost us anything post-flop, but it's still enough to be worth, considering. And then 6s into 10s. Yeah, pretty annoying one. Obviously a big opportunity there. We do still manage to win $75, which is something. Let me update the tracker now as well. So that was a 25x multiplier. And we came second. So just to give you guys a little spectrum, a little scope here, we have played 18 10x multipliers or higher. That's the highest multiplier we've seen since we started this year. And we've won 66.67% of the games that we've played at 10x or higher, and we've come second. We've ITM'd 88.89% of the time. So we've come second or better 88% of the time in our big multiplier games. We have been running pretty far above EV, so it's not a surprise to see that that one didn't work out for us. But brutal one there, yeah. We're still having a pretty good session here, though, guys. Definitely putting in a good showing. Let's get back to it. All right, so I'm going to make sure that everything is closed here. All of our study materials are closed. Let's go ahead and fire up stars again. But nice opportunity there. That was a chunky one. 25 buy-ins on the line. 20 buy-ins for first. Not a complete loser. The 8-6 spot is going to annoy me a little bit just because in my heart I kind of feel like not only do I knew it was close, right? We're not a million miles off. The 8-6 is the kind of spot where we're in a big spot and I'm going, you know, I feel like I need to follow the rules here. But if I feel that uncomfortable about playing the hand, I should probably just avoid it completely, even if it is GTO, until I've, you know, feel more confident that playing it is something that I'm doing well. But, you know, that could have gone very differently had we got off to a really good start, right? And then, you know, we obviously just played a couple really standard hands. Not much to report. I would say the majority of what we played was pretty standard. I don't know how to respond to the full pot there. Hello, Rick Dolph. Good to see you, mates. Really big spot there. Tough one. We're headed for bigger and better things, though, guys. Nice. Good line. Must have ace high. Oh my gosh, just the flush draw. As soon as I saw those sixes as well, I had a feeling. I was like, just banging it into an overpair here would be a sad story. We went set over set on the flop regardless. Not that I would play that hand differently anyway. Not destined. Let's run it. 3x multi. All right. We didn't win the 500 buccarinos, but we will still win the EVs today. El mejor. El mejor. El mejor. Bum, 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 bum. Good start. Very good start. Nice. Yeah, got a call here. With intention. Nice. All right, cool. So, 2 cashes in a row. Not the outright win that we wanted. Okay, now we have a 10x multiplier. So, redemption. Player on the left, very good player. Player on the right, don't know him. So let's get into it, chat. Top pair, decent kicker. Button is not interested. Undersea Monkey, thank you for the gifted sub. Now, Daniel might have King Queen here, but otherwise we're going to win this a lot of the time. All right, we're not folding, right? So, nice. Feels good. I would say of all the runouts, it was fairly clean for us. A little bit of redemption in the 10x would be really lovely, I'm not going to lie. 10x multi just to soothe the pain would be cool. A nice high-scoring EV 10x would make me feel a lot better. So, trappy trap with the ace 10. We're definitely calling a shove. Wish me luck, guys. Trappy trap. It's a trappy trap with the ace 10. Let's go. High scoring 10x. Get the lot. Heads up against the individual here. Trap the eights. Let's start betting. All right, so nice and easy against this guy. Clearly playing in a more unconventional style. We don't need to do anything rash. We're gonna take it nice and easy against Daniel here. For example, just gonna fold the 8-9. We're not fussed. We're not fussed. We are not in a rush. Against Daniel, we can definitely just do this. That's what we're gonna do. Try and blast him into the ground here. Nice and easy on the flop. Grind him down. Nothing dramatic. Just a whole lot of chances to succeed. The little trappy traps. So against this player specifically, Queen 8 of clubs can be jammed here. We're going to play it slow. We're not going to do the GTO back call. We're going to play as many hands in position as slowly as possible against this guy, and we're going to find a way to edge out the victory. Four of diamonds with the king high. It's good. So again, just being in pots in position here. We're going to attack these boards very aggressively. I know it's on, can you imagine? We turn a jack. Can we value bet? Okay, cool. We lose the absolute minimum. That's great in that spot. Now, ace-5 can just be played as a push. I think with the chip lead, we're going to go for it. It is very profitable at 10 big blinds effective. King 6, again, we're going to be tighter than usual. Ace-7, the same spots. Sub 10 big blinds effective now. I think betting here is fine. Checking is also cool. And calling, I think, is still a thing. Happy. Pretty straightforward stuff. Jack high was good anyway, bruv. King 10 for the win. 5 big blinds and a dream for the 10x multiplier. Can we finish this game? Yeah, 10-7, way too good to miss there as a jam for 5 big blinds. Back to the drawing board. 10 big blinds is okay. This is totally fine. We're going to do a big ISO here, guys. We're going to go for the full 4x ISO with A7 of diamonds. Try and get him back in the box here. We did have a pretty significant chip lead going into this heads up, didn't we? Queen 4 of clubs. Definitely can just push here against this guy. We're going to play it more passively. I think this is a hand that plays really well in position against a more passive opponent. This is almost exactly the spot that we've been studying in the lab, by the way, guys. You don't have to tell me. Ace and a jack, baby. Wish me luck, guys. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Did we complete the Spingo? We actually just completed our full house as well, guys. So we got $75 from the Spingo promotion as well. Very nice. Okay, cool. We can update our total with a little bit happier now. So that's 10 big blind, 10x multiplier and a win. So that takes us to, we are winning 89.4%, or sorry, cashing in 89.47% of 10x multipliers or higher. And we have won 68% of the 10x multipliers that we've played or higher. Further evidence that we need to go back to a 25 big blind average is so sad. Anyway, we crushed that one. Nice one. Very good. Hey, Pod Jam Knight, good to see you. Undersea Monkey, thank you for the gifted tier as well. Tier 1. So there we go, guys. That's going to look good on the graph as well. That was an absolutely stellar game for us. Just before we move on, let me just really quickly check something here. So a couple hands we might want to save for posterity. So let's do. Sorry guys, gotta do the admin or I'll forget. The King 10's not really worth clipping, is it? Nice. Okay, cool. All right, nice. So just like 5 more of those today and we'll be happy. Bankroll looking a little bit more healthy now. Had a few victories today. All right, let's go again. Let's go again. We are building the EV today, guys. We are smashing the EVs today. I've been seeing this jackpot guy pop up a little bit more often now. I'm not sure what to make of him just yet. From a poker standpoint, I'm sure they're a wonderful human being. Let's go there. Chelik has King Queen. Oh. Oh. Ace. Well, it was what we asked for. It's not what we needed in the end. Oh, sorry, YouTube people. I forgot to find the new YouTube stream if you guys have been chatting. If you guys have been waiting and chatting over there, sorry if I've missed you guys. This one's good, right? 10-6 is fine here. I'm pretty sure 10-6 is a push. Yeah, Mr. Swain knows how I feel. Good to see you, by the way, Mr. Swains. No, the YouTube stream is fine. It's just because I forgot to open up. YouTube isn't like Twitch where you have the same chat no matter like what stream you do. How much was the 10-6 jam for? It's like 5 bigs, right? Raise to 6. Cuspy. I would say in the grand scheme of things, not a big deal though. Yeah, so Mr. Swains, I don't know if you were here, but our stream went down. I had to restart the stream because I had such a long delay. But now, but then YouTube is stupid. Every time you start a new stream, it's got a new chat. It's like one of the big downsides. Okay, heads up for 75 bucks. Let's do it. Ace 9, let's go. We're calling a shove with king 7 of hearts here if we need to. Otherwise, we'll take a check on this flop. Turning second pair is kind of cool. All right, not the best run out. If our opponent does have a 7 or a 6 or a 4, we might just get to showdown though, which is nice. Confident barrel again though. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Tough one there. King of poker. King of poker. He is the king of poker. Spade. Not gonna do it. 6 big blinds, not gonna do it. 9 tray off, not gonna do it. Ace Jack is a good hand. Go on, give me a Lucy call here. Blinds are already up next hand. Yeah, alright, wish me luck. Literally dominated there. Fucking stupid hand. Stupid hand there. Pretty stupid hand there. I'd say it was a fairly stupid hand. Rescore. Should we give him the 3 stages of shark? 3 stages of shark. 1, 2, big shark, strag. 1. Oh no. 1, 2, 3. So Spraggy. Looks already there. I'm running like God. Don't tell me that. All right, so we'll have a bet on this flop with the gut shot. 2 of cards to second pair as well, which I think is kind of nice. Maybe not the greatest turn of all time. I am actually going to turn our hand into a bluff here. I'm going to turn our hand into a bluff. Oh my God. Can you imagine representing a big club on that river like a bouse? Radev, definitely a good reg. Definitely one of the good regs. It's out the way. Not a ton we can do with the 9 tray of spades here. You're gonna win this pot, buddy. This one is out of range against the reg. And the king 7 of diamonds is definitely a call here. Wish me luck, guys. Yeah, big shark. All right, chip lead now, 7 big blinds effective going into the next stage. Against the reg, we're going to fold the 9 trade diamonds here. Too shallow to make that work against a good player. Ace trade is definitely a call here, though. 8-9 is perfectly fine as a push. We won't be winning this all in. And the jack with the 8. Push is probably fine. And the 2x multiplier, let's just play this one fast. Yep, king 9 is a snap call for sure. At this stack depth, that's a monster. The jack 8 push is going to be totally cool. In the 2x multi, I just want to play the hand effectively fast against the reg. I can almost guarantee I'm not going to outperform the slower version of that move. Brav. King 7's a call. We've been on the right side of the EVs for these. Wrong side of the all-ins. Next game, please. Next game. 6. 10. I'm married to the cards, but the cards don't love me back. So I think I've completed the Spingo challenge. Yeah, I've ticked off the Spingo thing completely now, so I've unlocked all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've completed the Spingo challenge. All right, top pair on this board. Gonna be fairly monstrous. And if our opponent is leading, we are just going to play it slow. Try and keep the small blind in with queen jack or whatever. All right, if they have a queen, they're going to win the pot. I was going to say it's probably not that common for a player to lead a queen here, but you never know. Thank you, Mr. Swain. I appreciate your contribution as always. I don't know what's going on. Come and join us on. Come to Twitch. This stream is cursed. No, we're not going to do anything weird. I will bluff the river though. Let's have a crack at the river. That's fine. He might call us with a 10. Or queen high, fair play. I'd say that was probably still a pretty reasonable move, given the fact we kind of surmised he didn't have much of anything. Queen high hero call, baby. Wow. Pretty impressive, if I do say so myself. The 9 might be a bad card for us, I can't tell. These all might be bad cards for us, I can't tell. That's another way to handle it. We got called by Ace Queen of Diamonds here, so feeling pretty good about that situation. Nice to deviate in a way that makes sense against the unknown player, right? Like, taking advantage of the fact we know that they're a bit more of a calling station. Taking advantage of the fact we know that they're probably not going to find bluffs, like when we actually like use an unconventional bet size, like sort of sizing pattern or your line. Again, very juicy game for us here in EV. Very, very good. Cool. All right, guys, we're cooking. We're cooking. The studying is paying off, it would seem. We are playing a good game at the moment, and we are winning some EVs while we're at it. Our friend from the Spin and Go Academy has pulled 100x in the hundreds this morning. Whoa. Brav. That is actually erotic. Actually erotic. Okay, this guy is gambling. Yes, this is a player type. This is there's more exclamation marks here. This guy is splashing. All right, we got to play faster. It's a 2x multi. Got to play faster. We gotta make sure we're deep enough to actually exploit this move. Can we get him? Oh yeah. The A7 spot is actually not too bad here, to be fair. We're unlucky, but we get the money in good. It's fine. The A7 jam there is probably not that bad, to be fair. Like, we're going to shove a lot worse than that at 7.5. I think it's probably going to be good, in fact. Yeah, it's a little bit expensive against the unknown player. Here you go, guys. Give you some ASMR here. This stream has everything. He won it. Let's go. That's really, really sick. Weird unbalanced spot here. Take my chances on a place in the shade. Thinking about our lives. If you just stayed and held. But you've been on your life. Oh, you're not belong to the promise that I can make you home. Won't you save my soul? Save my soul. All right, we're heads up against the unknown player. Let's do it. $3x multiplier. Probably want to go a little bit speedier than if we were deeper. Yeah, I'm gonna go crazy here. I'm gonna go crazy. Ace and a jack, baby. No action. 10-6. Whoa, 3x call, jack 7 off, bruv. Have you lost your mind? I think you gone lost your mind, son. Blah, blah, blah. This is interesting. Now, our opponent probably won't have a king that often. Straight draw, flush draw is probably really bad for the 8 tray, and we might just run into it once in a while. I'm going to exploit fold. Exploit fold like a genius. All right, we have been studying this spot, so let's try and focus up. This is more or less. We're just going to target the 4x here to folds. Fair enough. Not expecting a queen to fold, especially not with the flush draw. That's what the small turn bet was for. We're not trying to get anything that strong to fold. And this, against this specific player type, actually performs very well as a jam. Good stuff. Lovely. Lovely. I'm feeling good about how we're playing right now, guys. I'm feeling feel like we're attacking these situations, but we're ninja. We're being ninja right now. We're a little bit ninja. I am ninja. Maybe I too can be ninja. Did you guys ever see that? The white chick that wrote the song I want to be ninja. I want to be ninja. So good. Such a meme. Top internet meme there. I want to be ninja. I want to be ninja. So at the moment, guys, so far this year, we've played 1,805 games, and we're halfway through April. So we're supposed to have played, I think, closer to 3,000 so far. But we can make that up pretty quick. Like, I think probably I will be attending Monte Carlo this year. I think I'm going to try and play maybe 100 games a day while I'm in Monte Carlo as well. That's probably like 300 or so right there. It'll be more than that. It'll be... that'll be like 1,000 games. There for like 10 days, I think. I don't know, guys. I don't know. We're supposed to push this. All right. We're gonna do it. Close. Now it's not close from a GTO perspective, but from a humanistic perspective, it's not good. The next game is what I need. Sensei Nick-san, apprentice of the Hattori Hanzo, master of the dragon spins. Wish I was the master of the dragon spins. Looking on Twitch, commenting on YouTube, still broken. I don't know what's going on. Mr. Swain, it was because we had to turn it off and turn it back on again, basically. Maniacs Mansion, what's up? Good to see you. Thank you very much. We can get there. We can get there, chat. 2.5 big blinds. Instant double with the 5-4 clubs. But now it's my time, baby. My time to win. Master of the Dragon spins. I said, next game, please. I'm ready now, so stay with me. Come on, we want action with nines. Shark. 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 Uh-oh, we sharked the wrong guy. No, we sharked the wrong guy. Never mind, we got it. Oh, why is that there? We need a strag there. Let's drag in this one. Strag. Lego. All right, we're heads up against a known reg. See if we can win some chips. Yep, this is a small raise combination. Queen high with the backdoors. No backdoors, though. Not quite a call. This one can go, though. And ace deuce of clubs is a less a go for sure. Nice. No, I think it's just a fold. That's annoying. Straight. The humanoid perspective. That's right. Come on now, don't be silly. All right, Mexico. From Mexico. Go back to Mexico. No, I can't even show this one. Damn. Go back to Mexico. Sorry, guys. That's not like a racist thing. It's the guy's actually from Mexico. I would say it's like me saying, go home. Go home. Just in case that wasn't clear. When the guy's name is literally Mexico. Okay, so what do we got here? Filter for today. We're winning some money. We're winning a shit ton of EV. It's about time. It's nice to just be reminded that it is possible to win EV. Yeah, facing that min, we are not folding a lot of hands. We're defending a lot of hands. Queen of Spades is a good card for them to bluff even if they don't have it. See if Alex wants to continue with the hand. A lot of these guys have an exploit where they over min raise and then they under rep on later streets. This would be cool. Probably not the move, though. Andy won the 25x earlier. Top player, though, I have to say, top player. My life would be a lot easier if I didn't have to play top players all day, but there we are. Sometimes you got to battle the top players. If you want to be the best, you got to play the best. What do we call this river? Come back from the from less than one big. It's possible. So you're saying there's a chance? You're saying there's a chance? Okay, up to 3 bigs. Can we make the comeback here? Maximum comeback. Spade? Maximum comeback? Oh, that would have been so epic. Of course he's got kings. I've got 2 big blinds and the guy's got fucking kings. Classic. All right, game on. Next game. Tell you what, guys, I'm gonna fire up a second table. No, it's not any better. It's pretty much exactly the same shit. I don't know if I have the 2 tables set up for this. Thank you very much for the follow, Edfrech. Hello, thank you for the follow today. Welcome to the NickWalshTV channel. We're playing spins. We're playing spinning goes. Speaking of great games, I really want to try Slay the Spire 2. Fergie, thank you for the follow. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me today. We're playing Spin and Goes. If you haven't seen these before, Spin and Goes are a 3-handed winner-take-all jackpot sit and go on PokerStars. This is what I came for. Yes, we're gonna do this as a bluff. We are going to start with a very small continuation bet. Interesting. I honestly don't know what they're supposed to be raising on this board. Like, I'm trying to figure out what combo wants to raise in this flop texture, and it seems like it's probably going to be draws more often than a king or a 10. King 10 probably wants to be chill anyway. Yeah, honestly, it's like, I don't know. Seems like a bit of a speed of call here, though, right? All right, nice hand, buddy. You know what? I'm gonna mark that for review. I really want to see exactly what is supposed to. I just don't know if there's meant to be raises there much on that board in an ISO pot at 9 big blinds effective. Like, doesn't seem like much of a thing, right? Okay, we'll play a few more games, then we'll go ahead and start our review, guys. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what you're supposed to raise there that isn't a bluff. I guess theoretically you're supposed to raise some top pairs, I guess, but like, People just don't. It's a pretty good flop for Jack 8. I think we want to do this. Yeah, Mr. Swin, it's got to be like, it's meant to be like a king and then draws, right? But, I don't know. I think we're just going to keep it real small here, guys. Just try and milk it. Don't really see how we lose here unless he gets really lucky. But then the push on, it wasn't the river, it was the turn. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, if you are raising a king and it comes an ace on the turn, are you still going to bang it in? It just feels like it's going to be way more draw heavy. It could still be queen jack, though. Queen jack actually completes a straight on the turn. You know? Let's do this one. $10x with a flush draw? Yeah, maybe. Oh. Come on, let me get there. Nice. Now, how do we get max? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can we win this 50 bucks? Blinds are up for Mexico. Guys got 2 big blinds here. Come on now. Can't lose. Can't lose. Can't park there, mate. Can't park there, mate. Excuse me. Can't park there, mate. Excuse me, mate. Can't park there. Excuse me, mate. Can't park there. All right, guys, 1 or 2 more games, and then we will take a look at some review, including we're going to process the entire session. This will be the first time we're doing this kind of study. I am a little bit hesitant to always strap on a study session at the end of each stream. My hesitancy is that people will arrive at that point, or they'll see that part of the stream and they'll be like, whoa, this is some kind of like mental science that not interested in. I just want to see people play poker. So I'm debating whether or not I do the study session at the end of each stream and then just make it into a YouTube video or something. It's a lot more effort though. It's a lot more effort that way. And, you know, theoretically, I'm looking for the most low effort life possible. He says deciding to become a professional poker player. I'm gonna play a game for a living because it's so easy. Because I want such an easy life. I'm gonna become a poker player because it's so easy. I just want an easy life. I decided I wanted to become a professional poker player because I wanted an easy life. How's that working out for you, buddy? We're not folding A7, gang. Lucky Locutus. Pocket tens are very, 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 very good. Give us some action. Call. Call. Yeah, limp call king 10 here isn't that bad. I think it's probably fine. But we'll take it. Where do we start here? So he was at 11. You could just shove king 10 as well, pre. It's fine. Limp call is going to be good, though. All right, chat, we're having a good day. It's a good day of poker. Let's play this game and then one more game, and then we'll take a look at some review. This is not the best flop for Jack 9. Chelik, Mr. Chelik. QQ Chelik. Yeah, we're not folding A6 of spades, gang. We can fold it now. Hand is way too dank. Pocket 10 save us some money here. And now for the main events. Heads up for 75 US dollars. Can we do something fancy here? It's pretty fancy. Pretty fancy. God sure has some funny ways. All right, yeah, we're still in play in this one. Cute Chelik. Cute Chelik. Smasherino. Queen 5. Roll low. Let's do this one. Let's get this in the mid-raise category. Ooh, this is not the worst start I've ever seen in my life. Cute Chelik. God sure is a funny way to show. Watches out for the working man. Watches out for the working man. Watches out for the working man. Straight. That's annoying. Pretty bit of a cold deck there with the A6. All right, one more game today, and then we'll do some review. I'd say that was fine. Nothing wrong with that game. Ah, fuck off. All right, I'm gonna fire one more, and hopefully it won't be 2 regs. And I'll switch tables if it's 2 regs, or if it's not 2 regs. Nope, never mind. 2 games, both regs. 2 games with 2 regs. Back on steps in the ceiling. Oh, 2x multiplying, and they're multiplying. Top pair, top kicker. Top pair, almost top kicker. Did you come here just to almost win? I came to rake it in. Now, if my opponent has a J-Bull or Queen 10, we're in trouble here, right? It's kind of hard for them to have that many bluffs. That's not really true, but nice. Would like to try and win that one once in a while. Give him the shark. Spite shark. Spite shark. Now rake it in. Rake it in. Slow and thin. Didn't come here just to almost win. I came to rake it in. Pocket 2s. Feels like love, feels like healing. Counting sins, now I rake it in. Rake it in. How dare these regs play Denfist? Exactly. Don't they know What's the bowling guy say? Who do you think you are? I am. You guys ever see that? It's an absolute classic. Guys bowling in the PBA in the United States. Bowls a strike. Who do you think you are? I am. Absolute genius. Come on now, finish the game. Nice one. 50 bucks in the bank. We got another winner down here as well, guys. Let me close this table. We are also over here. Heads up with the chip lead for 75 bucks. Table number 2. And I am debating whether or not I actually raise this river for value. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, chat? Can you imagine? We are on fire today, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to look real good on the graph. My baby left me out to try. I was hiding alone in the desert sun. I know that you can't see why. I'm wrong. Strings gone. I'm gonna barrel the turn. I'm gonna barrel this turn, and we're gonna make it 2.44. Greatest bowling post-match celebration of all time. I didn't know this, but somebody was talking about that particular guy, and then they said also in previous years there was a televised event that he won, and as he lifted the trophy above his head, the part of the trophy fell off and broke. Nice, winning the all-in to finish the day. Lovely. Yeah, so Sheepfragger, yeah, so this apparently in an interview, some kid in the stands was like heckling him, and he meant to say something like, "This is my house," or like, "Whose house do you think this is? It's my house," or something. But he was so excited it came out as, "Who do you think you are? I am." All right, chat. Let's take a look at our results today. 005 says, just a tip for disconnections, keep a phone with a hotspot ready in case you disconnect. That's a great shot. For the most part, my wired connection is super stable, but the actual connection itself dropped. It wasn't the Wi-Fi, but still same deal, right? Good shout. Okay, so guys, we're cooking. We're cooking. Let's take a look at how we're doing so far this month. So this is this month so far, and we're putting in some good work. We're running like shit, but we are actually winning some EVs. We're making up for a lot of lost time. We've been flatlining this challenge for quite some time. If we take a look at today specifically, we will be looking at a very handsome graph. Very, very nice. So today specifically, guys, we ended up winning something like 83 chips per game. Totally unsustainable, but will contribute to a much higher average, and we won 350 bucks overall. So very, very nice. We did manage to hit a 25x multiplier today. No good in the 25x, not a lot I think we could have done differently. There was maybe 1 or 2 pots that we played like maybe incorrectly pre-flop, but overall no big mistakes. We did manage to win a 10x, and yeah, more like this, more days like this, and we'll be absolutely cooking. If we filter specifically for the start of the year, this is obviously since the start of the challenge. You guys can see we're heading more in the right direction, but we still need to win a lot more chips to be satisfied because we're still not winning enough chip EV to be satisfied as we speak. But a couple more sessions like this and we will be doing just fine, don't you worry. Don't you think you need another monitor when you want to play 2 tables at once? Zintex, it's a good point. It's a very good point. Okay, so let's do two things now, guys. We'll get to those in a second. Before that, let's filter specifically for today. And then we come down here. I'm going to export hands to file, desktop, save. Before we do anything else, let's close PokerStars as well. All right, so Stars is closed. We can begin our official study session as of now. So I'm going to fire up the old GTO Wiz. And before we do anything else, I'm going to upload today's entire hand history. So while that's cooking, let's take a look at some of these hands for review. A lot of these are going to be really, really easy. They'll be pre-flop. Again, everything is closed. We're not playing poker right now. We're not even opening. PokerStars isn't even open on our desktop, so we're allowed to do whatever we want for the study. So this is a ISO and a call. We end up barreling, and yeah, okay. So this is basically, I think that we are allowed to raise 6-5 off. It's just very infrequent. My guess is it's about 10% of the time. We did roll low. We are randomizing these spots, so we did go for the 2.5x. Our opponent calls. I would say probably we are supposed to just bet here very small most of the time, maybe even just one big blind. What we wanted to see was what is our opponent supposed to be raising here, because I don't know, if you have a king with the flush draw, you don't really want to raise. I would imagine there's some king X that's supposed to raise theoretically, but probably most people don't. Overall, I'd say I just feel like this is probably more bluffs than anything else, but this is the spot anyway. Let's take a look at a new window of GTO Wiz, and then we'll get this in view for you guys so we can study. Okay, so first spot of the day for review, upload. So the pre-flop they don't like at all. Let's take a look at the actual spot itself, because we might be getting the 6-5 off wrong, even though it will exist in other spots. So there's a call. Okay, right. So here you go. We are sort of getting it right. You can see 8-7 off about 10% of the time. Looks like it's closer to about 14. That's a large ISO. This is a raise to 2.5. Okay, cool. So these combos actually prefer to be larger. If we go a bit deeper stacked, you guys will see what I'm getting at though. So if we look at like 14, again, these are played as jams more often than anything else. So like low frequency jams here. 4-3 off is going to be the 3x ISO. That's the standard ISO at that stack depth. Yeah, okay, cool. So basically, what we're doing is we are misapplying these combos. The raise that exists with the ones that are here, because their EV will be similar to the suited combos here, that makes a lot of sense. So 8-7, 6-7, 6-5 off is just going to be a jam quite often. If we go back down to 10, which is kind of closer to where we were at, you guys can see it actually becomes one of our large ISOs instead, which is what we do with these combos as well at a fair frequency. So overall, whatever. Let's just say, let's say instead we end up with the 4 tray off. That is about 10% of the time. Let's say instead that we are playing this hand. So let's say that we ISO 4 tray off to 2.5. There's a call, and now the board is exactly the same as it was here. King of clubs, 10-5 of diamonds. Well, but let's make it 10-4 of diamonds. Then we'll get an idea about what we're supposed to do, sort of. So now, we want, that's better. So 4 tray off basically always wants to bet some amounts, and it ranges between 1, 1.5, and 2. So ignore that. Let's try and simplify this again. All right, so even better, let's just do this instead. And if we're looking at the 4 tray off, just wants to bet one most of the time. Okay, fine. So, you know, betting small, betting one big blind is better than the 1.25, but there we are. Now, let's assume that we do actually have this combo specifically and we bet. How often is our opponent supposed to raise here? Because I don't think it's often. Okay, well, there you go. Look at this. I mean, look, I'm going to change it back to basic, but I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think there are any raises here, basically, right? So raise to 3 is 1.5, raise to 2 is 4.7%. So this was closer to the raise that they did, but it's just not really a thing. Like, yeah, I mean, look. So our instincts are kind of right here, right? If this is not too dissimilar from the spot that we played, apart from the fact that the solver is assuming that we're going to play those specific connectors as more aggressively, or for a different size pre-flop. In this case, all in. But it does feel good that when you look these up, you're going, I don't really understand what you're supposed to raise here. I'm assuming you're calling, and if this is basically true, right? So like, very, very, very narrow ranges of hands want to be in raising here. Like Queen 10 makes sense, I guess, against a perfect GTO player, but most people don't. Probably a mistake to do that against a lot of players, just on the basis you want them to make a bigger mistake from out of position. Some kings, like some weak kings that kind of like benefit from getting value from queens and jacks, and like ace 10 and like queen 10 themselves. Just not really a thing that humans apply, I would say, generally speaking here. So that does kind of story check out for me. But the takeaway as well is that at the stack depth, we want to be committing these as jams at the frequency that we think we're actually doing them as like a 2.5x raise. So that is definitely a learning point here. Great stuff. Let's go ahead and file that away in our brains. Infrequent ISO jams. Let's go back. Let's go back and study this again. So what we want to do is figure out at what stage these sort of transition, right? So if we go to 10, and we skip all the way back, let's just reset back to here. Let's go back to here. Call. So large ISOs at 10. The jamming thing kind of existing at 11. 12 is where we see mostly jam. That's probably where we want to have the cutoff. 11.5. So basically 11. I would say 10 is probably a good cutoff, right? Once we get to 10, these are just going to start merging into our sort of our large ISOs, right? So this becomes our 4x ISO at 10 big blinds effective. And the 2.5s are going to be all around here. Sorry. These make sense. We've been thinking about this recently. Yeah. Okay, story checks out. This is cool. Okay. So once we get to 10, we need to remember that those specific combos in the middle are going to be the large ISOs. But everything up here, let's go back to like 14, for example. Yeah, everything from here onward, let's go up to 16. So those are still in there at 16, 18. A lot less so once we get deep, obviously, that should make sense. But 8, 7, 6, 7 still have a lot of the characteristics of a jammable hand, even as we're deeper, just a very, very low frequency. So that's good. We're learning. So once we're going to apply these as jams, and then as we get shallower, they're going to become our big raises, but very, very infrequently. We did roll for that one specifically. Cool. That is definitely a great thing that we're not doing correctly. 005 says 6-5 off ISO shove about 50% of the time at 11 to 12. Let's go take a look again. So we're looking at 6-5 off at 12. Yeah, there you go. Happening very often at 12 and 11 specifically. And then at 10, obviously we're transitioning into the big ISOs. 005 is asking, can we remove the delay after finishing the stream? We can and we can't. So I'd have to start a whole new stream, which isn't really beneficial for streaming. You can't There is a way to sort of do a dynamic delay, but it's not easy. But I understand that this segment is better done differently. I appreciate that. So there's a limp here. I actually just jammed the king deuce versus limp here. I'm pretty sure that we're supposed to do this blind v blind with some of our weakest king X, but I could be miles off. I'm actually this is a huge guess. I'm not confident about this one. So for the sake of this one, let's take a look at our at the NWTV chart pack here. So we are looking at the three-way section. Images, three-way, big blind versus limp. And we're looking at 15 big blinds effective. Let's look at 14 and 15. No, I'm just miles off here. Not really sure why I decided that this was the move. This might actually perform okay against unknowns, but against regs who have a balanced range, this isn't a thing. The jams are just all kind of what you'd expect them to be. So king deuce of hearts, just not a jam here. I'm not sure why this cropped up in my brain, but this is kind of why we do the review sessions, right? We want to confirm and lock in information that we think that we've learned correctly, and if we're unsure, we want to challenge that. So this goes limp and raise and ISO. We don't have to look this one up. This is just a fold pre-flop. We actually paused the session to look at this. So this is just not in range. Just for the sake of completeness, let's take a look at small blind versus ISO non all in at 15 again. Let's take a look at all of them actually. So versus 3. So this was at 20, and at 20 big blinds effective, this just feels right. You know, you don't feel great about calling with any of these hands. This is at 20 against 3. Let's take a look at 15 because that's so frequent against 3x here. Again, just taking out a lot of stuff that we feel like doesn't play very well. This should feel more natural. And, you know, this is frustrating for me because in the moment, it was in the big multiplier, and I'm going, oh, I think computer wants me to do this. But what I should be thinking is, does this feel good? We've played enough poker in our time to go, does this feel good? If it doesn't, it's probably because it's not a thing. But if it is a thing and it doesn't feel good, it's still not something that we should be doing because it means we're not confident playing in that spot. So maybe there's learning and maybe there's GTO that we're not fulfilling, but it's still not something that we're going to be feel good about playing. Now, having said that, if I flatted with 8-6 off and flop 2 pair and then won a huge pot, I'd tell you what a genius I am, but that's for another day. Just kidding. Okay, cool. Ace-8 suited. So just double checking the size here. We are 10 big blinds effective. Now, Ace-8 suited might be strong enough for us just to go for 2.5. I just want to double check the pre-flop here because I confuse myself between the large ISO and the small ISO. So again, making reference to the NWTV chart pack. If you guys want this, take a look at my website. Pretty much every single heads up spin and go spot solved. So big blind versus limp at 10 big blinds effective with the 2 size strategy. No, it's fine. So again, our size here is 3.5, which I still think is, I believe personally is better than 4. 4 is how GTO Wizard simplifies it, but they have a different large and the same small. So our small here being 2.5, turning this into a large ISO with the suited aces is nice. So if we go 10 big blinds, 9 big blinds, 8 big blinds. So as we get shallower, the 2.5x's are actually quite prevalent. What's interesting is once we get to 7, there's this massive shift, right? Once we get to 7, suddenly all of our ISOs are big unless they're like monsters. So there, you know, this is actually not uncommon, and this is something that you guys can take away, right? Like, there is something specific about the 8 big blind, 7 big blind transition heads up where a lot changes very suddenly. Let me give you some examples. So at 10 big blinds effective, you can see we're doing a little mix of small raises and big raises. Oh, it's Andy. What's up? Andy, that's really nice of you to say, dude. You didn't have to do that, but thank you for coming to the stream and saying hi. Nice work on the 25. Congratulations on the 500 bucks. That's very kind of you, Andy. That's very, very cool, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Andy's in the chat, guys. The player who beat us in the 25xer. Appreciate you, man. Andy, top reg, by the way. Top reg. I've always said that. Sincerely, that sounds insincere. I really mean that. All right, 10 big blinds. So at 10, you can see we do a mix of everything, and then we get down to 9, it's kind of the same deal, and then we get to 8, and then once we get to 7, everything changes where we suddenly do a lot more of this large ISO kind of strat that we have. The same thing is true when we're looking at heads up in position as well. So if I filter this now instead for heads up when we're in the small blind, so we're first to act, if we take a look at 10 big blinds, this is our strategy, right? We're going to do a lot of limping. We're trapping a bunch of our very strong hands. But we also are going to be doing almost no min raising, right? So the jams exist, but if we go 10, this is 10 big blinds effective, first to act, heads up. 9 big blinds, we're doing more jamming, obviously. 8 big blinds, we're doing more jamming. Once we get to 7, again, we start to see this massive shift where like almost all of the hands we play become jams. We're not even trapping hands like ace queen suited anymore, king jack suited anymore, right? We're just jamming those. Now, at the stack depth, if you're playing in a longer spinning go, I still believe that against recreational players, you're going to outperform the jam quite significantly at 8 or 7. But once we get to 7 and below, you really start to print just by being all in more often correctly. This is something that I've learned the hard way. And then once we get to 5, it's just pure jams basically. But I would say that the 6 big blind, 7 big blind is something that we still can afford to be in there playing a different strategy if we're playing against somebody that we know is extremely passive. But if they are passive in a way where they overfold, we print so much faster just by being all in. So it's very difficult to argue with the 7 big blind transition. You see how much more goes into the jam? 8 and 7, there seems to be a big jump for a lot of different ranges, a lot of different positions at the transition between these two stack depths. Just donate 25 subs and all is good. Perfect, yeah. All right, so anyway, yep, this is good. This is fine. So something that I want to look at really quickly, though, again, because I'm getting this one kind of wrong. Let's start at 15 big blinds effective. This is how most games start. So this is 15, and I'm going to go down. I am not min-raising our strongest hands here enough. So I'm trapping ace king suited, ace queen suited, ace jack suited, aces kings way too often at 15. Do I think it's bad? I think it's probably fine. There's probably not that big of a difference, but I do think that I would do much better by min-raising those parts of my range more aggressively. The transition is what I'm looking for here. So 15 big blinds effective, we still have aces and kings, for example. 15, 14, 13. 13, we start to see more traps. The thing about trapping queens and jacks at the stack depth is it makes more sense because your opponents are much more likely to attack your limps when they have a king or an ace in their hand than they are a queen. So the trapping with 10s, jacks, queens is much more potent, even though they're not as strong as aces and kings. It's very interesting, right? 15, 14, 13. At 13, we're basically always trapping kings and queens. 12, suddenly we are trapping, you know, pretty much everything we have. 11 is like definitely everything's in there, right? We're just not going to be min-raising here almost at all, and it's fine. We lose almost no EV, right? Once we get to 10, it's just all limpy. So really what we want to be thinking about is once we get to sort of 12, let's introduce way more of those limps. Let's try and be a bit more strict with those. But the ISO spot works fine here. All right, Queen 9, let's take a look at this. This was a jam. So this is one that I wanted to look at very specifically. So I don't know if there's going to be one close, but let's take a look at the GTO Wiz version here. Take this out. So I'm pretty sure that this will be... how close was this one, though? Let's take a look at the actual one, the pre-solve that they found. So 3.566, is that accurate? That's pretty damn accurate. I'm not gonna lie. This is good enough for me. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, perfect play. The Queen 9 was the push here. Let's take a look at the whole range. If you guys didn't see this one before, basically 3.5 big blinds all in on the button. We're all in with Queen 9. The additional dead money on display here and potential to win. And there's a call with a King 10. Doesn't matter. We don't care about what happens afterwards. So looking at this range, this is kind of what I was getting into. The pushing range here for 3.5 big blinds is quite wide. I do believe Queen 9 is good enough to outperform this range, but also after the fact, the Queen 9 is going to be more than strong enough to be all in blind v blind for the 6 big blinds. So it's close, but queen 9 is in there. We would fold queen 8 for sure. This all looks like something that we would probably do. We'd probably be in there with the suited kings as well. But overall, nice. We don't have to custom solve that one. All right, so 10-9 suited. Both players are getting on the shallow side. The fact that this player is down to about 13 big blinds, I do think we're going to default to push more often. Let's take a look at this one again with the unbalanced asymmetrical stack depths. Yeah, looks good. So again, just looking at this range, something to note if you're going to play spins, guys, is the difference between a 15-15-15 and a 15-14-14 is quite considerable. So just to simplify that, what I mean to say is, let's say that all stacks are symmetrical and we're at 15-15-15. Every player has a starting stack, basically. You can see that 10-9 suited is already going to be a push, but a lot of these combos are going to be very close. So like the queen 9 suited, jack 9 suited, these kinds of hands, these are very, very close. Now, if we duplicate this and we look at 14, it changes quite rapidly. So if we're looking at 14 now instead, immediately these hands start to be in there already. And if there is any distribution in the stacks or any asymmetrical stack depths, it suddenly gets quite extreme. So these are all symmetrical. This is 15, 14, 13. 15, 14, 13. You can see how quickly these become jams, right? 14, we have way more ace combos. 13, we're going to include, king 9 suited and 10-8 suited and all these kind of hands. So once we get to 13, we're jamming a lot of really nice hands. If we look at this spot specifically, this is the asymmetrical stack depth. This is 15, 12, 15, and it's looking a lot like a 14, 14, 14, right? Look at how close those two are. So recognizing that pattern is important because you're going to have to do that on the fly. But with the asymmetrical stacks, you actually probably end up pushing even more. So 12.9%, it's a whole 1% more when the stacks are asymmetrical and one player has 13. So it does make a big difference. This is something that I've learned more recently, that we're doing much better now, and it's improving our win rate for sure. But yes, the 10-9 suited, easy. Right off the bat, first hand of the game, you can shove 10-9 suited profitably. If you're playing against complete unknown players, 10-9 suited is a monster just to min-raise and then play in position. But the last thing you want is to min-raise fold 10-9 suited because it's so powerful. You could, as an exploit, probably, just out of interest, let's see if we can even do that right now. Let's take a look at a spot and let's see if we can do a bit of a custom solve. So custom solution, new solution, we're looking for pre-flop. We're looking three-handed. We want everyone to have 15 big blinds. Presets are fine. Small blind complete, yes. The raise is to 2.5. This is fine too. Okay, so let's say that we node lock and we force this hand to be played as a raise, 10-9 suited, and apply. Nothing has really changed. The strategy has not changed very much at all. But now let's assume that we're playing all min raise from this position and the small blind is all in and the big blind folds. I'm assuming 10-9 suited has to call here. Okay, it's still technically a fold. That's interesting. Let's say instead that the big blind shoves though, because that's a very different prospect, right? Fold, all in, 10-9 suited. Yeah, it's very close. So it starts to sneak in there. The issue that we have with not shoving 10-9 suited at that stack depth is that if our opponents are 3-betting correctly, they will exploit us on occasion, right? They will force us to fold a hand that has enough equity to call. However, if you see how close it is here, as an exploit, if you're playing against two unknown players, you can probably, based on what we just seen here, you can probably min-raise fold 10-9 suited at 15 big blinds effective. However, if we change this to 14 now, if we edit this specific setup, let's say we give everyone 14 instead, I think probably there's nothing in it. So exactly the same spot. Let's assume that this one is going to be... I don't know if this makes any difference, but we'll do it properly anyway. So let's do this again. 10-9 suited should be back into a push. Now again, let's node lock this combo specifically to just the min raise. And let's say this player is all in, big blind folds. Okay, still a fold against the small blind here. This player folds, this player is all in. It's got to be in there now. Okay, same kind of deal. So this is against a GTO opponent with the correct 3-bet jams that are going to be, you know, sort of merge, semi-bluff kind of things. So with this in mind, we are learning something new. You're probably going to do fine in a 2x or 3x multiplier by always playing a min-raise call strategy. Like assuming you're going to min-raise 10-9 suited and then call a jam, it's probably going to be totally fine. Against good players, it looks like it's close. Against bad players, you're probably going to not perform as well. So actually, as an exploit, let's say you're in a first hand of the game, 15 big blinds effective, 3-handed, and you min-raise 10-9 suited. We can probably safely assume that you can min-raise and fold as an exploit against unknowns. And one of the benefits of this is that they are probably going to play very poorly from out of position. So you min-raise a beautiful hand like 10-9 suited, and then your opponents call. They're going to call. They're mostly not going to 3-bet. They're going to play out of position with too wide of a range. You kind of crush pretty hard. So while we've got this up here, let's go back to the 15 big blind setup. Let's assume we're playing in the very first hand of the game, okay? Of the average game, right? This mostly 15 big blind effective. This looks good. Let's create a solution. So now let's assume that we're going to play all of these really, really pretty hands as just the min raises, right? We're not going to jam any of this stuff. We're going to play all of our pretty stuff just as a min raise. These are probably still good to be all in with. Let's just assume we do those all the time. Let's play it exactly like this, right? This is our new strategy that we're exploring. Now that we've played a min raise, let's see what we still call with, first of all. So small blind just jams, big blind folds. Sorry, big blind folds. So we're still going to be calling with kind of what you'd expect. A lot of our suited combos, more suited combos than I actually thought. Obviously all the pairs. Story checks out. So there's nothing in here that's that gnarly, right? Pretty standard. Ace-7 off probably should still be a fold here as well, technically, but whatever. Let's assume that the small blind folds and the big blind jams. It's going to be a smidge wider, I guess. Yeah, so a little bit more confident with these combos, but generally the same thing. Cool. So with that in mind, right? Kind of seeing what we've seen just there. We can pretty much, as an exploit, just assume that if it's pretty, we're going to play it as a min raise. And if we're playing against complete unknown players, the likelihood that we get exploited if we play this strategy is extremely small. And I think our actual steals are going to massively, massively outperform. The other conflicting issue that we have, though, and this is where we're having a lot of trouble as spin and go players. How much more EV do we win by playing, you know, ace deuce suited, ace 3 suited, ace 4 suited as a jam, and then, you know, straight on to the next hand, as opposed to playing, you know, some of these better combos as min raise and then we play in position. Based on what I'm seeing here, based on this, based on what happens here afterwards, right? So basically, this is the outcome if the small blind jams. We're going to be forced to fold 10-9 suited, which is a hand that we can shove profitably. Jack-9 suited the same, Queen-9 suited the same. So with that, on that basis, it might be the case that we should just jam ace-2 suited, ace-3 suited, just because we know it's profitable. Maybe ace-4 suited, and then ace-5 suited plus we'll just play as a pure min, and then we'll include all the pretty stuff as a min raise. I guess probably just generally speaking, it's going to be super situational. But having this as an opening strategy against two unknown players is probably very good, and probably is going to win a lot more chips, like a lot more chips than the jam. Because if anything, the shove inspires fear in most unknowns. They're not going to call correctly. So you do win some chips with some consistency and you're straight on to the next hand. But I would say that, you know, 9-10 suited in position against an unknown player is just going to win you mountains of chips, like way more than the 1.5 big blinds or whatever. It's not even that much because they're going to call some of the time, but you get what I'm saying. Cool. Good thought experiment anyway. And we got that one right. So King 3 suited here. There is an all-in from the King of Poker. I think this is pretty straightforward. Let's just double check it with the NWTV chart pack. So going back to the chart pack, this would just be part of the three-way in the big blind and the small blind open shoves. And we're looking at 9 big blinds effective. We're calling with any suited king. Right? Any suited king, slam dunk, like not even close. I'm not sure how this is marked. Just double checking our work. Okay, so this was an interesting one. This is a post-flop one. Just to take you through the hand, we're 15 big blinds effective. Our opponent steals, we call. We hit second pair. Our opponent goes for half pot. Fine, we're definitely never folding. And my point on this turn was, if our opponent bets here, they actually don't have as much ace-x as you think. Because so much of their ace combos, especially a reg who's playing by the rules, theoretically, is going to be all in with so many ace combos that I don't think the ace ends up being a particularly dangerous card for us. When we arrive here, however, I do think we're still forced to fold, because I still think our opponents will have Queen Jack and they'll still have 7x. Like 8-7 is probably quite a good combo to have, you know, stealing blind v blind. That probably happens more often not all in than an ace. This is something that we can experiment with, but generally speaking, I decided to fold the river. Let's copy this hand because this one will be pretty easy to source. So analyze, upload. So perfect play, flop, turn, river, beautiful. That's not enough for us though. If we want to learn, we got to go deeper. It's not enough just to get the ticks, but let's take a look at the whole spot. So first of all, our assumptions pre-flop, how true are they? My instinct is that the small blind is going to be, their ace combos are almost all in, right? Look at this. This makes up a huge percentage of the total number of aces that are played here pre-flop, right? Because all of the offsuit combinations, there's 14 combinations of each offsuit combo. And then there's only 4 in their counterparts, right? There's only 4 ace-deuce suited, ace-3 suited, ace-4 suited, right? And the majority of these are going to be played. So these are the ones that are played as a steal. So 4, 8, 12, 16, so on and so forth. It's minuscule by comparison. So if we take a look at... I'm not sure why filter isn't showing. There's not a breakdown of it anyway. It might not be... Okay, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter anyway. So the point being, well, it's better visualized later on anyway, right? So there's a raise and we decide to call. Once we hit the king 9, we're never folding the flop, right? That's fine, no problem. Pretty straightforward. The ace turn is where it gets interesting because now the small blind wants to bet again. The 3 big blind bet is interesting to me because I do think that this is a little bit unusual. It almost doesn't exist at all. It's 2.4% of the time. 4.5 being a much more conventional size here because you are trying to inspire folds and obviously you are trying to build pots when you're strong. Kings and queens and all that makes perfect sense to me. But if you take a look at how many combinations of ace there are. So top pair, let's look at how many. There's only 4.1% top pairs remaining. How sick is that, right? So our instincts in this spot are extremely good, right? This is not, it's not really instincts, it's more like range perception. But this is really interesting because a lot of players are going to perceive the ace as a serious threat at a stack depth where your opponents are almost entirely out of aces. You can't assume fish are going to do this, but you can assume regs will behave like this very, very frequently, and this makes you a much better player, right? A much better at reading situations. 4.1% of the time is now a pair of aces. What else do we have here? So people have a set more often than they have aces. How cool, how interesting is that, right? A set is more frequent than top pair in this setup. So after that facts, obviously the call is kind of mandatory on the turn. I do think on the river people do sort of shut down a bit, but just out of interest, let's say that the river comes... Let's say that the river comes like a a complete brick, like the deuce of clubs, I think that king nine probably becomes much more of a call. So now let's assume that we're at this point and the opponent is all in. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Look at this spot. King nine is still a call. If the river is a brick and is not a coordinated card that completes those straights that we were discussing and all that, it is still a call. So this is really, really good. I'm really happy about this spot because this is one that we were probably not perceiving correctly, but our instincts about this one are spot on. This is really good. All right, so Jack 8 here. Min raise, call. We have middle pair. We're calling. Again, this is a spot where our opponent probably is. It's almost identical to the one we just saw, right? So we just called down. This spot should be almost an exact replica of the one that we just saw, right? I mean, obviously it's different because there's not straights and stuff, but to me this seems like probably a mandatory call down. Our opponent ends up having ace 8 against a reg. I'm saying again, I got to be very careful here because we can't. The things I'm saying are reg related. Yeah. So on the river, you can take it or you can leave it. Basically, it's going to be exactly the same as what we just saw. So for all the same reasons, the pre-flop is a mandatory call. Pre-flop mandatory call, of course, right? There's some raising, fair enough, whatever. On the flop, got a call, mandatory. On the turn, mandatory call again for exactly the same reasons that we were just describing, right? Because our opponents just don't have as many aces as you think. And then on the river, it's that brick that we were just discussing that we just confirmed a moment ago. You know, you can fold if you want, but basically this is definitely still going to be acceptable to call. Reg v reg, blind v blind. This seems like probably it's going to be very good. Great. So that was all the hands we had marked for review. Now let's take a gander if we can learn anything about our upload that we just did. So hands, uploads were here. This was the 14th. This was the one that we uploaded today. And it's looking good. Let's take a gander. A more visual, interactive way to explore your results. Let's take a look at that. Oh! Well, this is cool. I've not seen this yet. Oh, cool. I've not even seen this yet. So our win-loss in big blinds was 140 big blinds. Our all-in EV was 121. Not bad. So now what we want to be able to do is filter. Oh, this is very cool. The heat map is here as well. Oh, man, this is so sexy. Damn, this is really hot. This is very, very cool. Now, tournaments. If they put in a filter here where you could look at your chips as well, that'd be interesting. Can you change it from chips to big blinds to chips? Maybe that would be a cool thing. I've not seen this yet, guys. This is really, really interesting. So you can filter for your worst hands. These are the hands we're losing the most with. Wow, this is so cool, guys. I've not seen this yet. And you can also filter by position as well. Bruh. Oh, wow. This is so cool, guys. All right, I'm very excited about this. I have not seen this tab at all. I don't know if this has just been added or something, but I've not spotted this before. But this is really, really cool. Okay, so what I wanted to do anyway, guys, was filter by... I wanted to filter out all the best moves, correct moves. I wanted to look at wrong move and blunders only. Presumably you can replay hands. Okay, cool. So, this is filtered specifically for just the hands that have been flagged under inaccuracy or blunder. It looks like this is the... Let's start with blunder first. So we're filtering specifically just for blunders. There's going to be a fair amount of these. Yeah, so this is meant to be a jam at 3 big blinds effective. We missed the push here. Fine. It's going to be a lot of these kind of ones. So this was the straight. I think we decided just to straight fold this one. The EV difference here is what's going to be really important, though. So I think we're allowed to do this as well. So EV loss in big blinds per 100. I'm not sure how to do this, guys. I'll mess with this more, but basically there's a way that we can filter out the spots that are basically like inconsequential that we're doing specifically to be fast. So the fold with the 8-5 suited would have been in a 2x or a 3x multiplier. Let's just do this and see what happens. I don't know if this is how you do it or not. Oh, blunder, and then we want the EV loss to be greater than. I don't know. Let's see if that works. It's the other direction. Let's try that. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's the way to do it. So I'll figure out how to do this better, but basically what we want is we want to save a filter. We want to save a filter where the EV loss in a blunder is like tiny, minuscule. Yeah, I've seen the stats section before. I've seen stats section before. This is what we were working with before, but I think results are really interesting here. Anyway, so what we want to do is if it is a blunder and it's for like less than, if it's for like if it's like tiny, then we can filter those out as well. But let's go back to here. Sorry, we're looking for blunders only. It's not filtered correctly now. Is it April 14th to the 14th? There we go. So the win-loss here, that's the amount that we lost. The actual EV that we lose here is very small, though. It's 0.07. Now you guys can, if you guys are wiser than I, you can tell me if this is consequential. That one is probably pretty. We're basically losing like 1/8 of a, is it 1/8 of a big blind, or even smaller than that. This is the 14 big blind against the unknown player. This would be an exploit fold anyway. Call ISO fold again. That would be an exploit against that player specifically. So nothing that's super standing out right now. Wrong moves are going to be in a very similar vein. Okay. Do you know what I'll do, guys? Is I'll have another look at this and I'll figure out how we can filter. But generally speaking, I just wanted to check for blunders that were of high consequence. This heat map, though, is very, very cool, dude. So this would be from... Let's try and go from the start of the year and see if there's anything here. January 1st until April 14th. Yeah, that's pretty much what we were just looking at, yeah? Cool. This is really, really interesting, guys. So presumably we can filter just for these as well, huh? Cool. So these hands are supposed to be losing for sure. By how much is a good question. I can speak to Texas Tom about this as well. But there's probably a fair number in here that are underperforming. Small sample anyway, but yeah, I can try and get a bigger database in here. All right, well, anyway, guys, I'm not going to fumble through this here with you guys online, but I will find a way to make this more useful now that it's available to us. And this is really getting kind of sexy, right? We can start to really drill into the not just the spots that we played in the session, but also like the actual heat map itself, showing, you know, the worst and the best of us. you know, you are expected to be losing with a fair number of these combos, but making them less losing is also useful. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. We've done our session review. I'm very pleased to be sort of back, you know, winning some EV and also, you know, having all the tools in front of us in order to get the study sessions back on track. I felt more focused today, having put in a study session this morning, and I feel like we're heading in a good direction, trying to maximize our EV in these games and try and like really drill down into how we can get the absolute most from a game which with a very small edge in the first place. But that's it for today, guys. More spins tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK, twitch.tv/NickWalshTV. If you haven't done so already, check out !Nick in the chat. There is links to Twitter, Instagram, Discord, the website, including those charts, and the YouTube channel as well. Drop me a follow if you want to get some more info. I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be streaming at least Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, maybe Friday. But until then,